What if the biggest difference between people who build lasting wealth and people who struggle financially has nothing to do with luck, talent, or even income? Imagine two people earning the same salary, living in the same city, and facing the same economy. 10 years later, one has savings, investments, opportunities, and peace of mind. The other is trapped in debt, financial stress, and the constant feeling of falling behind. What created such a dramatic difference? Not one giant decision. Not one perfect investment. The answer is far less exciting, but far more powerful. The difference is found in the small habits repeated every single day. Habits are invisible at first. They don't announce themselves. They quietly shape your future while you're busy living your life. A few extra dollars spent without thinking. A few minutes spent learning instead of scrolling. A decision to save before spending. A choice to plan rather than react. Over weeks, these actions seem insignificant. Over years, they become the dividing line between financial freedom and financial struggle. This journey is not about getting rich overnight. It is about understanding the hidden behaviors that create wealth, destroy wealth, and determine the direction of your financial life long before the results become visible. Stay with me until the very end, because once you begin recognizing the habits behind wealth, you may never look at money, success, or your daily choices the same way again. Welcome to Rich Habits, Poor Habits. Most people focus on outcomes while ignoring the behaviors that produce those outcomes. We admire wealthy people, successful entrepreneurs, disciplined investors, and financially free families, but we often overlook what they consistently do when nobody is watching. Wealth is rarely built during dramatic moments. It is usually built in ordinary moments. The wealthy person does not become wealthy when they buy a stock. They become wealthy through the years of discipline that allowed them to invest consistently. The financially secure family does not become secure during one lucky month. They become secure through thousands of small decisions that protect and grow their resources over time. One of the most important rich habits is living below your means. This sounds simple, but it is one of the hardest habits to maintain because modern culture constantly encourages the opposite. Every advertisement whispers the same message. You deserve more. Buy now. Upgrade today. Many people increase their lifestyle every time their income increases. A raise leads to a bigger apartment, a newer car, more subscriptions, and higher monthly expenses. The result is that income grows, but freedom does not. Rich habits create a gap between income and expenses. Poor habits consume that gap before it has a chance to become wealth. Imagine two buckets being filled with water. One bucket has a small hole at the bottom and the other has several large holes. Both receive the same amount of water, but one fills steadily while the other never stays full. Income is the water. Spending habits are the holes. Many people believe they have an income problem when they actually have a habit problem. Another rich habit is paying yourself first. Most people pay everyone else first. The landlord, the bank, the credit card company, the streaming services, the restaurants, and the shopping apps. If anything remains, they save a little. Wealthy thinkers reverse the order. Saving and investing become a priority, not an afterthought. Even small amounts matter because the habit is more important than the starting number. A person who consistently invests a modest amount every month is building a financial identity that grows stronger with time. Poor habits often revolve around impulse. Impulse spending feels good in the moment because it delivers immediate gratification. The problem is that immediate gratification frequently steals future freedom. Rich habits favor delayed gratification. They ask a different question. Will this purchase improve my life next year? Or only for the next few minutes? This does not mean never enjoying your money. It means spending intentionally rather than emotionally. Another powerful rich habit is continuous learning. Financially successful people tend to invest in knowledge long before they invest large amounts of money. They read books, study skills, learn about business, investing, communication, technology, and personal growth. Knowledge compounds just like money. One useful idea can increase your earning ability for years. Poor habits treat learning as something that ended after school. Rich habits treat learning as a lifelong investment. Time management is also a hidden wealth habit. Poor habits often waste hours on activities that produce little value. Rich habits protect time because time can be converted into skills, relationships, health, and future opportunities. The goal is not to work every minute of the day. The goal is to become intentional about where your attention goes. Perhaps the most dangerous poor habit is surrounding yourself with people who normalize financial chaos. If everyone around you lives in debt, spends impulsively, complains about money, and avoids planning, those behaviors begin to feel normal. Rich habits are often supported by environments that encourage growth, responsibility, and long-term thinking. The people you listen to influence the habits you repeat, and the habits you repeat shape the future you create. As we begin this journey through rich habits, poor habits, remember one powerful truth. Your financial future is not being decided by one extraordinary opportunity. It is being shaped right now by the small choices you make every day. Every dollar saved, every unnecessary purchase avoided, every hour spent learning, every plan made instead of ignored, and every disciplined decision repeated consistently becomes a vote for the life you want to live. Because in the end, wealth is rarely the result of one brilliant move. It is the result of rich habits practiced long enough for time to transform them into extraordinary results. One of the most surprising truths about wealth is that the rich and the poor often buy the same things, but they buy them in a different order. A person with poor habits spends first and saves whatever is left. A person with rich habits saves and invests first, then spends what remains. That single change in sequence may seem small, but over decades it can completely transform a financial future. Imagine two people earning the same amount of money every month. One automatically invests 10% before touching the rest. The other waits until the end of the month to see if anything is left to save. After many years, the difference between them is not just the money invested. It is the identity they have built. One has trained themselves to think like an owner of their future. The other has trained themselves to react to the present. Rich habits. Poor habits teaches that habits create identity long before they create visible results. A person who reads for 20 minutes every day may not seem wiser after a week, but after 10 years they have consumed hundreds of books. A person who walks daily may not look dramatically healthier after a month, but after years they often enjoy a completely different quality of life. Money follows the same principle. Small financial habits appear insignificant until time begins multiplying them. Another important rich habit is tracking where money goes. Many people can tell you their salary but cannot tell you where most of it disappears. Money leaks through subscriptions that are rarely used, impulse purchases that are quickly forgotten, convenience spending that becomes automatic, and small daily expenses that never feel important individually. Wealthy thinkers understand that awareness comes before improvement. They do not track money because they are obsessed with every penny. They track it because attention creates control. What is measured can be improved. What is ignored tends to grow in the wrong direction. Poor habits are often emotional habits disguised as financial decisions. Stress leads to shopping. Boredom leads to spending. Comparison leads to upgrading. Celebration leads to overspending. The purchase is rarely the real issue. The emotion behind it is. Rich habits begin by recognizing this connection. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" they ask, "Why do I want this right now?" Sometimes the answer is practical. Other times it is loneliness, pressure, insecurity, or the desire to impress others. Understanding the emotion behind spending is often more powerful than any budgeting technique. Another rich habit is building multiple sources of income over time. Relying entirely on one paycheck creates vulnerability. Wealthy people gradually create additional streams of value: investments, businesses, side skills, royalties, or assets that can generate income independently of their daily labor. This does not happen overnight. It usually begins with one small stream that grows slowly. The goal is not to become busy with endless projects. The goal is to reduce dependence on a single source of income and increase future options. Patience is perhaps the rarest rich habit in the modern world. We are surrounded by stories of overnight success, viral businesses, and instant wealth. These stories are memorable precisely because they are unusual. Most lasting wealth is built slowly. The first years often feel disappointing because growth appears small. This is where poor habits usually take over. People become impatient, chase risky opportunities, abandon long-term plans, and start over repeatedly. Rich habits trust the process long enough for compounding to become visible. Compounding is not just a financial principle. It is a life principle. Knowledge compounds. Relationships compound. Reputation compounds. Health compounds. Every positive habit makes the next positive habit slightly easier. Every negative habit makes the next negative habit slightly more likely. A person who consistently keeps promises to themselves develops confidence. A person who repeatedly breaks those promises develops self-doubt. Financial freedom is not only about growing money. It is about becoming someone who can be trusted by their future self. Another dangerous poor habit is confusing entertainment with education. Watching endless financial content can create the illusion of progress without producing real change. Rich habits focus on implementation. Reading one useful book and applying one lesson is more valuable than consuming 100 hours of financial entertainment. Information becomes power only when it changes behavior. There is also a profound difference between seeking comfort and seeking growth. Poor habits optimize for immediate comfort. Rich habits often accept temporary discomfort in exchange for long-term freedom. Studying after work is uncomfortable. Investing instead of spending is uncomfortable. Saying no to unnecessary upgrades is uncomfortable. Building a business, learning a new skill, or paying off debt requires effort, but temporary discomfort is often the price of future peace. The choice is rarely between comfort and discomfort. It is usually between short-term comfort and long-term freedom. As wealth begins to grow, another rich habit becomes essential: humility. Financial success can create the illusion that every decision is brilliant. Overconfidence leads to excessive risk, lifestyle inflation, and poor judgment. Wealthy people who remain financially free for decades usually continue learning, questioning themselves, and respecting risk. They understand that protecting wealth is often harder than building it. Perhaps the most important lesson of all is that rich habits are not really about money. They are about responsibility, discipline, patience, awareness, and intentional living. A person who masters these qualities often improves not only their finances, but also their health, relationships, career, and peace of mind. Poor habits create chaos in many areas of life, while rich habits create order. As we continue through rich habits, poor habits, remember that your future is not being built on the days when you feel highly motivated. It is being built on the ordinary days when no one is watching, and the small decision would be easy to ignore. Every time you choose planning over impulse, learning over distraction, investing over unnecessary spending, and long-term freedom over short-term pleasure, you are casting another vote for the person you want to become. And if those votes are cast consistently for years, the results may one day look extraordinary to others, even though they were created by ordinary habits repeated with extraordinary discipline. Another rich habit that quietly changes everything is learning to think in decades instead of days. Most people make financial decisions based on how they feel right now. They ask, "Will this make me happy today?" Wealthy thinkers ask a different question. How will this affect my life 10 years from now? That one question creates an enormous advantage. A new phone may create excitement for a few weeks. A consistent investment may create freedom for decades. A luxury purchase may impress people for a moment. A valuable skill may increase your income for the rest of your life. Rich habits stretch your thinking beyond the present moment, while poor habits keep your attention trapped in immediate gratification. Imagine standing at the edge of a large lake. If you throw a small stone into the water, the splash lasts only a second, but the ripples continue traveling outward long after the stone has disappeared. Financial decisions work the same way. The purchase itself may be small, but its effects can continue for years. A monthly payment reduces future flexibility. A high-interest loan makes tomorrow more expensive. A wise investment creates ripples in the opposite direction, generating opportunities, security, and future choices that did not exist before. One of the most overlooked rich habits is having a written financial plan. Most people have wishes, not plans. They hope to save more, invest more, earn more, and worry less. But hope is not a strategy. A plan does not need to be complicated. It simply needs to answer a few important questions. How much will you save each month? Where will you invest it? How will you reduce debt? What are your long-term goals? What will you do if an emergency occurs? Clarity reduces anxiety because uncertainty often creates more stress than the numbers themselves. Another powerful rich habit is delaying major purchases. Poor habits are impulsive. They treat desire as an emergency. Rich habits create space between wanting and buying. Many wealthy people use a simple rule. If a purchase is not essential, wait. After a few days or weeks, the emotional intensity often disappears, and the decision becomes much clearer. This habit protects not only money, but also attention. Constantly chasing new possessions can become exhausting, while intentional spending creates far greater satisfaction. There is also a hidden connection between health and wealth. Poor health can become one of the most expensive financial burdens a person faces. Rich habits often include exercise, sleep, nutrition, and stress management, not only for well-being but also for long-term financial stability. A healthy body supports productivity, creativity, energy, and better decision-making. Wealth is difficult to enjoy if health has been sacrificed to build it. Another difference between rich habits and poor habits is the way people talk about money. Those with poor habits often focus on what they cannot afford. Those with rich habits focus on how they can create value. They ask, what problem can I solve? What skill can I improve? How can I become more useful? This shift from scarcity to value creation is incredibly important. Income tends to grow when your ability to help others grows. Many people also underestimate the power of environment. If your friends constantly encourage spending, complain about money, avoid responsibility, and chase short-term pleasure, those behaviors gradually become normal. Rich habits are easier to maintain when you are surrounded by people who value growth, discipline, learning, and long-term thinking. You do not need wealthy friends to build wealth, but you do need influences that encourage better decisions rather than justify poor ones. Another crucial habit is reviewing your progress regularly. A pilot does not set a destination and ignore the instruments for the rest of the flight. Investors and financially successful people do the same. They review savings, investments, spending, debt, and goals, not to become obsessed with numbers, but to stay aligned with the direction they want to go. Small corrections made early prevent large problems later. Perhaps the most important realization of all is that financial freedom is not a number. It is a relationship with money. A person earning a modest income can feel free if they have low expenses, savings, investments, and peace of mind. Another person earning 10 times more can feel trapped by debt, lifestyle inflation, and constant pressure. The goal is not simply to have more money. The goal is to need less external validation and create more internal security. As we continue through rich habits, poor habits, remember that every habit is casting a vote for your future. Rich habits may feel slower, quieter, and less exciting than the shortcuts advertised everywhere around you. But shortcuts often create temporary results, while habits create lasting transformation. One book read, one investment made, one unnecessary expense avoided, one skill improved, 1 month of consistency. These actions may seem small today, but they are the invisible building blocks of future freedom. And one day, when people look at your financial life and call it success, they may never see the truth behind it. They will not see the impulses you resisted, the plans you followed, the learning you continued, the patience you practiced, and the ordinary decisions repeated over and over again. But you will know that wealth was not created by a lucky moment. It was created by rich habits practiced long enough for time to turn discipline into freedom.